Hi.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm in the car too, so I'm pulled over right now. So I'm going I'm going off memory. So welcome everybody. Welcome to Food Truck 101 from beginner to winner. I am your host, Lauren Bell. I am the co-owner of Double Trouble Philly Cheesesteaks, and I own that business with my twin sister Lori and her husband Keith. So welcome everybody. Thank you. And of course, tonight and every Monday night is our author extraordinaire. That's what I call him, Mr. Bill Moore. Bill is the author of Food Truck 101 from beginning to winner. He's also authored other books such as Putting the Cart Before the Dog and Taking It to the Streets. Bill also has another book that will be coming out shortly. So stay tuned for the promos and the release of the new book. We are super excited about what is coming forward. Bill and Melissa spend countless hours maintaining the professionalism and the integrity of this group. When I last checked our membership, we were at 24,000, maybe 300 or something, a little bit more, and we are growing every day. 24, Bill?
24-4.
24-4?
Yeah.
24-4. And y'all, we are growing every day. Just yesterday, I had 7 people join. Bill brings to us experience of 45 years plus experience to this industry. He's done everything from run large chain restaurants to food trucks to hot dog carts. He has maintained and helped us grow our business from the very thought of it to the very induction of it. So we are truly grateful. So help me, guys. Welcome to the platform, Mr. Bill Moore.
Oh, that's so amazing. I love hearing you talk. I could just listen to you all afternoon, all evening. But thank you so much. We do have 24,400 people. I checked right before I got on the call, so that was pretty cool. We put in like 60 so far today. It's growing quite rapidly. I'm very pleased, but it's not about the numbers. It's about the quality of the people, and that's what's the most important. That's what most important.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So are you ready to get started?
Yes. So of course tonight we're talking about cash flow. And for most of us, we will come into an issue at one point in this business where cash flow may be a problem. There'll be a very small percent of you guys that will not have an issue with cash flow, and that's whether you've dumped a large amount of money in before, or maybe you were sitting on a large amount of money. But at some point in time, for us who are kind of starting from the bottom and rising, cash flow can definitely be an issue. And when I say cash flow, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily mishandling money. That's not what we're speaking of. More so that, maybe it was an issue of preparing for a large event and not making the money back off of it. Maybe you're taking money out of your full-time job, dumping it into your business to fill the gap. Maybe you're not managing inventory well. Maybe your prices are too low. Maybe you have not figured out all of your costs and everything, and you're kind of winging it. These are all things that will cause us to have cash flow issues as we go along. So as we get into this chapter and dive in, this chapter is not judgment. Sometimes people get a little they get a little weary of sharing cash flow issues, and don't, because we're here to help each other. This is a no judgment zone. And the fact of the matter is, we're all working day to day to make it and to bring in that income. And sometimes we simply don't know how to do that. Maybe we do. Maybe we just need to change some things. So let's talk about cash flow. Bill goes through this chapter and outlines some really great tips. And then let's share at the end of this chapter. Let's just share, because maybe we all have tips. Maybe there's something I do that could help you. Maybe there's something you do that if I streamline, maybe it'll help me. So let's talk about cash flow, Bill. It could be very touchy, it could be very on the fence, but it's definitely a very necessary topic of discussion.
Cash flow is touchy for a lot of people. I actually saw a question, I'm pretty sure it was in our group today, where someone said they'd gotten a survey, and the survey wanted to know, the details on their revenue. And that's not that unusual if it comes from a legitimate survey company. They're always looking to see what the food truck industry is doing. A lot of the information that's out there on sales, for instance, they're utter fabrications, because the people that do the surveys just take to heart, well, if that guy says he does 1 million, then, you know, at least half of the trucks have to be doing 1 million. And this is not true. There are lots of legitimate surveys. So again, you would just look at the source. So let's talk about cash flow in a food truck. What cash flow is exactly what it sounds like. It's just a river of money with a lot of branches. And hopefully by the time you get to the end of the river, there's still some water left in that stream. And if there's not, then you have what they call negative cash flow. So let's talk about cash flow, starting with, you got a market. That's how you bring people in. They got the cash that you need. Angela says she can barely hear. Is anyone else having issues hearing? I want to make sure everybody can hear. I'll move my microphone just in case.
I can hear.
Okay, that's good. Thank you, Ashley. Everybody's driving. I talked to like 3 people today that were driving. Okay. All right, great. So maybe moving my microphone helped. In any case, you got to market first. That brings the people to your business, and then they're going to throw a bunch of money at you. And it's what you're hoping. They're going to throw some money at you. How you handle the money is what creates your cash flow and whether you have any profit at the end. So we all know as soon as you have money come in, some of that's already spent. It's spent to buy propane or gasoline for tomorrow. You've already spent it to get your commissary. You spent it to get licenses. You may have some repairs that need to be done. You got to pay for your cell phone bill. So those are all things that we call fixed costs. Those are things that have to be paid on every bit of money that's coming into your business. So you need to be thinking about that. And a lot of people will call that overhead. Everything has a name and everything has a budget. You don't just lump it together and say it's overhead. I have a commissary budget. I have a gasoline budget. I have a propane budget. When you think in those kind of terms, you'll get upset when you spend more money than you intended to on a particular item like gasoline. If you budget yourself to spend $300 a month in gasoline and suddenly you found that you're spending $400, you're going to figure out, why did I spend more money? Hopefully it's just because the price of gasoline went up, but it could be because you're wasting it in some other method. Perhaps the generator is not working as efficiently as it should. But all of those fixed costs are also paired with variable costs. So you'll have to be buying food with some of the money that's being brought in on your sales. You have to buy food for tomorrow. You have to pay for the credit card processing. You have to pay for the employees that you have with you. And hopefully you're paying a little bit for yourself as well. So you have cash flow in fixed costs and in variable costs. And those had to be covered, again, with the sales that you bring in. But we still haven't talked about profit. The business hasn't profited yet. Now, the profits are going to be split into 2 areas. One of them is going to be for you. So you have a little bit of money there for your wallet as the owner. And that could be paid to yourself as a bonus. It could be a draw. However your legal structure is set up, it's still money coming from your business to pay you. And then part of that money has to be put back into the business. And this is where what I refer to as setting aside money for marketing. You may not be going to spend it today, but you need to set aside money today for your future marketing endeavors. Replacing your wrap, for instance, replacing a menu board, getting new feather flags, getting new lights would even qualify as marketing. All of those things have to be assumed you're going to be spending money. So you got to set money aside. The same with repair and maintenance. Just because nothing's broke down today doesn't mean it won't be broke down tomorrow. So you have to set money aside. You have to have a budget for that. It's one of the things that we talk about in the break-even seminar that I do. You have to have a budget for everything, and you have to be checking. am I running to my budget? Am I over budget? Am I under budget? Am I doing good? Am I doing bad? So what we got to do is understand the cash flow. Now, if you go through this scenario, guest comes in, throws some money at you, and you pay all those bills, and you got nothing left for profit, nothing left to go back into the business. All you did was pay the bills. So you're broken even. Now you're teetering on negative cash flow. Negative cash flow means you can't pay all the bills. And this is some things you want to analyze when you realize that your cash flow is running either too close to break even, or it's running to where you're going to not have enough money to pay all the bills. Some of the tips are you want to send invoices right away. What that means is, like if you do catering, a lot of people will get a small deposit. You've got to be sensible about your deposits and get them to commit to the date with a decent amount of money as quickly as possible, because that helps you with your cash flow right now. Now, you still have to spend that money wisely, because at some point you're going to have to buy food for that particular catering. And where's that money going to come from? Let's get your invoices out. Don't sit on anything. There are people that do caterings where they have a consistent catering week after week after week. Could be for a car dealership, and the car dealership pays you once a month. So you want to make sure that they are paying you on time and there's no lag in how frequently or how quickly they pay you. You may have to consider price increases. We should always be looking at our food costs and our labor costs, always making sure that they're within the budget that we set at the beginning of our business. If they're not, then we've got to figure out where the problem is and then fix it. And sometimes it comes down to, we got to raise prices. And I know that's something people don't like doing, because it seems like everything's going up, but you got to do what you got to do to stay in business. So don't be afraid to increase prices. You can expand your revenue streams. Typically on a food truck, you have people come up to the window, order food. You can think about focusing more on delivery orders or online ordering. You could add on hard lines like, t-shirts, or if you work near the beach, you could do sunglasses and hats and that type of thing. Those are usually very inexpensive, and then you can resell them for a decent amount of money. But you want to think of, how can I take more advantage of the people that are coming here to my business? You could add on another dessert. You could add on something that people just got to have. You can look at something as simple as, in the book, I talk about a bread carrier. You have bacon, egg, and cheese at McDonald's, and they do a biscuit, but then they also do an English muffin. They also do the bagels. They do a burrito that has bacon, egg, and cheese. So you're changing out a bread carrier, only adding one product that might reinvigorate some sales. But think about how you can bring more money in or get more money out of the people that are already coming to you. You want to reevaluate your operating expenses. And this is what I talked about earlier. If your food cost is supposed to be 25%, you need to make sure you're only buying 25% of your projected sales in an inventory. And then you need to double check yourself at the end of the week. Did I really use 25% of my sales in food? And there's a little bit of a math formula to do that. But you have to do that for food. You have to do it for labor. You have to do it for every single expense you have. Am I hitting what I said I would when I sat down to start my business? Because if you're not hitting what those expenses are, you need to figure out why, and then make adjustments. It could go all the way back to, I've got to increase my prices because now, shortening costs more. I've got to pay more for labor. Gasoline costs more. Propane costs more. So I have to raise my prices. It doesn't always come back to only raise your prices when the food goes up. All the other expenses relate back to, you may have to increase prices. You want to pay suppliers at the right time. And what that means is, if you're big enough or generate enough sales, your supplier may give you a discount. It could be a 10 net 30. And what that means is, if you pay within a certain number of days, you get a discount. Otherwise, the whole bill is due in 30 days. and they have all different kind of discounts that could be offered out there if you pay the bill quicker. So you want to make sure you're paying your suppliers when you can get those discounts. And if you're not eligible for the discounts, you want to pay the suppliers right when it's due. So that way you can take advantage of all the other money that you got coming in to that point. But remember to have the money ready to pay. You don't ever want to be late. And you certainly don't want to have a supplier stop supplying you because you're behind on your bills to the supplier. Open up a business savings account. And this is one of the things I talk about, like for repair and maintenance. You got to put money in that account because you know at some point you got a tire that's going to blow out. You have to change all the tires. You're going to have a piece of equipment that breaks down. A refrigerator gives out. You've got to have money in that account. Might as well be an interest earning account. Consider a cashback business credit card or debit card. People are getting more and more savvy about opening up those accounts, and they're asking, what type of rebate do I get? What type of cashback do I get? You just got to understand that you're still spending the money. But if you're able to bank that money, then at least you have that there to help pay a bill or offset a bill in the future. I know one truck I'm working with has a really nice business credit card, and it's through Chase, I believe. And she gets 3% back on pretty much any purchase that she does. And there's some that she gets 5% back. And she says she'll have, $4,000 or $5,000 at the end of the year sitting in that account. I mean, that's several months worth of, payments where it could help to offset a big expense that she has. So look into those kind of things and just be sensible about using any kind of credit. It's definitely something that can get you into trouble. That's why I'd rather see you guys use a debit card until you get a good understanding of your business cash flow. All right, that's pretty much everything that chapter has. It goes into a little bit more detail, and you guys can certainly read through it if you'd like. We can ask questions now. You guys can either type them in the chat or raise your hand, and I'll acknowledge you, and you can answer or ask rather. Next week, there won't be any class. It will be the 4th of July, and hopefully everybody's out enjoying fireworks or making a whole bunch of money, one or the other. The following week will be on the last section, the bonus section, number 6, and that's on security. And that one is super important because, like I said last week, there's on average about 1 trailer a day being stolen. And it doesn't take much to steal a trailer. And I don't want to see anybody in our group ever have their trailer stolen. Yeah, my wife said, hadn't it already happened? And it has. This section of the book goes over how to secure your trailer and at least make it difficult on somebody to secure.